for watching the number one podcast in the YouTube community. I'm one of your hosts, Juan.
And I'm your other host, John Paul Eck.
And one more time, 3 times in a day, we are
Rope Break.
And I hope that all of you are doing fine from the last time we talked to you, that it wasn't not too long ago. And another day unfortunately, of imprisonment. But you know what? Let's cheer up. Let's have a smile on our faces. WrestleMania just on bail. It just passed the corner. So we're going to talk about Monday Night Raw, Jean-Paul.
Yeah, the start of the new wrestling calendar, you could call it. And did they start off with a bang? Did they start off with the same old bullshit that they always give us? More that one than giving us something new, something fresh, something that's exciting. But like you said, it's something to smile about, I guess. There were some things in this show that I'm like, okay, this is kind of legit. But then the rest of the show, I was like, They didn't really do. Tonight was really an episode. If you didn't miss it, if you did miss it, you weren't missing much because you can just come and watch Rope Break. So
you just need to watch Rope Break. Yeah. It's this kind of episodes, and every single episode, you gotta watch Rope Break, and then you kind of watch the highlights if you want to. But if you think about it, Jean-Paul, like you said, the end of the calendar year, quotation, this should be like the Monday Night Raw after Mania. In reality, it was supposed to be like the biggest show, like one of the most viewed watch shows of the year. But unfortunately, for the circumstances that are going on in the world, it just turned out to be like a pretty generic Raw. Although we got to see a few moves, one return, return. I don't know if it's that meaningful enough, but like Nia Jax made her in-ring the return like after a year to be out, around that. And also, like, we got to see brand news that the Bianca Belair, she's going to be part of Monday Night Raw now. So she's left NXT, and also Apollo Crews. Apollo Crews joined Monday Night Raw. They said that because they had some missing drafts, or like some drafts left before like the whole calendar year was over. So you could see that. But in the end, I think that, like you said, it was not just a meaningful show per se. And they put on something, they used probably whoever had in hand. And like I said to you, this was already pre-taped.
Yeah, and I was interested because like what we saw last night at WrestleMania with Bianca Belair coming out in the Street Profits match, that really took away from everything we saw tonight. Because like you said, she made her debut on Monday Night Raw, but they pretty much recreated the exact same match from last night in the exact same sequence. And then we got, a match with, all three of them. It was like a mixed, intergender match, you could call it. And then it was it was just all this stuff. But like I said, because this pretty much happened last night, it happening again tonight, it was like, do we really care? You know what I mean? It was like, I was like, oh, okay. So like it's unfortunate. It was a kind of a sour start for Bianca.
It was. I will say that, and also. Like they recreate the whole thing, so we're gonna go over everything, like you said. But in the end, I think also, like, I don't know if you caught that, but Byron Saxton said like, "Oh, Drew McIntyre is gonna win. Is gonna defend the WWE Championship 20 minutes after he won it." In the commentary, so he kind of like messed that up for me. I don't know why he said that. But it's probably because like they just taped the match with Mania, and then he didn't.
Well, technically he did, because that when they showed that replay, that was supposed to that took place right after WrestleMania.
But see, you know what I mean. So like it's like, because normally they will make you believe it was the next day, but he said 20 minutes after he just won it. That's exactly what he said. So like the one show doesn't make order with the other one. It's like, because it seems to me that like he won it and then should have been the next day. But of course, everything's taped, so it doesn't really matter. But let's go over the whole show, Jean-Paul. Thank you so very much, everybody, for subscribing to our show, watching our videos. We have great stuff, Jean-Paul and I. 2 days of WrestleMania, day 1, day 2, right there for you guys, all results. Almost 2 hours of WrestleMania right there for you guys. And also for the Spanish-speaking or the Spanish-speaking friends in whole South America and Spain and everybody that speaks the language of Don Quixote. We have the WrestleMania review in absolute Spanish, and we have our guest, our special guest, Jean Paul Eck, great video for you guys. So thank you so very much. Don't forget to check those out. Jean Paul, Raw opened up with Asuka against Liv Morgan. Actually, they gave time to these two girls to put on a decent match. I really enjoyed
Yeah.
this.
I
Yeah.
was I was surprised too with how long this match was, and the longer it went on, the more I thought, oh man, they're gonna have Liv Morgan win. And not that like, you and I are both fans of Liv Morgan, maybe not for the wrestling, talent per se, but we do like Liv Morgan, and it was one of those things I was like, with that being said, I don't want her to win because I still think Asuka should win. She's more legit, especially with them losing the tag titles. Now it's like, get Asuka in a singles role and have her be legit, because you need people who are legit on Raw since, apparently Becky Lynch is still your champion and not Shayna. So it was like you need new challengers. So Asuka could be one of them, even though we've seen that 1,000 times. I think they'll now go with women like Bianca or now Nia Jax. But it's good to see Asuka get the win and still be kind of like in that contention for like top woman on Monday Night Raw.
And also, I think that like the days of the Kabuki Warriors, you could say they're probably
Done.
over. Nah, they're probably done. They're probably
Yep.
done. So it's good to see Asuka back in the singles role. And like you said, though, I was pleasantly surprised with how good Liv Morgan did. She did
Yeah.
not, go out of tune with Asuka. They actually put on a really, really great show, and she was able to produce a
Mhm.
great match.
Yeah,
So
well,
at some point,
they
I thought that
actually
she
have.
was going to win.
Yeah, I mean, they wrestled before a little bit. I'm not saying a lot, and that their chemistry is like amazing, but I know they wrestled back in NXT a few times and stuff. So, the chemistry is there a little bit. And Liv Morgan, she is better than you would think. Like when you see her, you're like, oh, this woman's beautiful. There's, she probably just gets by on her looks. No, Liv Morgan wants to be a legit wrestler, and every time she gets in the ring, I feel like she gets better and better. And like you said, this match was legit. There's lots of stuff that you could really do in the women's division if you wanted. There's still the unfinished business with Ruby Riott and Liv Morgan. There's tons of stories that you could really do, but instead, like we always talk about, they only focus on 2, 3 women: Becky, Charlotte, and then whoever else they
Yeah, I
feel
mean,
like.
sometimes it
Yeah,
can be
yeah,
Bailey, sometimes it can be Sasha, sometimes it can be Rhea Ripley until yesterday.
yeah, or Alexa Bliss, Carmella, Lacey Evans, whoever.
Yes, it is, and it's pretty lazy that you gotta just just focus on three women. It will be a
Mm,
lot better if you just give the opportunity to the other talent that you have in your division, either like Monday Night Raw or SmackDown. So let's go to like the closing segments of the thing. Like I said, 12 minutes of a really good match. Liv Morgan dodges a clothesline and lands a few flying forearms and an enziguri. Then Morgan with a double stomp to Asuka back in the corner for a near fall. Asuka attempts for an armbar, but Liv rolls her up for another 2 count. Then Asuka hit a German suplex, followed by a shining wizard, but then Liv gets her put on the bottom rope. So see, like they're actually making Liv look kind of like legit now. It's
mm,
not like the same Liv that like, oh no, 2 moves, Asuka log and done. And
yeah,
then Liv
exactly.
jams at Asuka but misses, and then she hits the ropes, and Asuka gets her in the Asuka log, but then kind of Liv started trying to roll back, and then Asuka kicks her, and like she kicks her, and then she turns her over, but then they keep fighting back and forth, but then eventually she gets the hold, and then she applies the pressure, and she ends up tapping out. Winner, Asuka. So, well, like you said, I think that it was a really good match. Liv that didn't look bad. This time I will say she did not look bad, and the main difference with Alexa Bliss and like all those girls that of course like the looks is the main focus. Liv Morgan is actually trying to improve. I don't see the same
Exactly.
Liv Morgan that was in with the Riot Squad. I actually see somebody that is hitting really nice moves. She did like a code breaker,
Mm,
Inzaguri, like she's trying to improve her move set, to improve her appeal to the WWE officials, because she knows that when it comes to like looks, you have Bliss, you have Evans, you have Charlotte, like the blonde, the same kind
mm,
of role. So she will not have room for that. But at least she's trying to actually promote her wrestling ability.
exactly.
So Jean Paul, we move on to like a rematch from last night. Is the tag team championships, the Street Profits against Angel Garza and Austin Theory with Selena Vega. So this started out as the tag match. She started out just a tag, and then of course there was a disqualification. So the match ends because of Selena was trying to pull. I think it was and it was Montez Ford. She was trying to pull him from doing the frog splash, and then Selena goes back again, the same exact attack, like you said. They just really recreate the same thing that they did in WrestleMania, and then Bianca Belair one more time comes out, and then she makes her announcement. She makes the announcement that she is a part now of Monday Night Raw.
Yeah, because then she said like I go here, or like
I
now
go
I go here. Yeah.
exactly. So she's like, well, okay. So if that's how it's gonna be, you want a piece of me. So now they go back and now they do a singles match. They do Selena against Bianca. Another like I think decent stuff, between back and forth. We all know that Selena Vega is a really legit wrestler. They don't let her, but like I remember seeing Vega from like the days of Impact. Imagine that, like 10 years ago. She was already fighting. She was a tag champion at that time, so she knows. Everybody knows that she can wrestle. Ends up in another disqualification, and then you see like a Montez Ford. Like I don't know why he does this, but he's all like crazy. He grabbed the camera and he's like 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 WrestleMania. I'm like,
Because
okay,
he's legit.
okay. It's like okay, the Ultimate Warrior. You know what
Yeah.
happened with the Warrior? You know what happened in the end. He's like, relax, come on,
Yeah.
calm down. And then he talks. He's like also like trying to. I think he watched the rope break in Espanol because he's
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, like uno, dos, tres. I'm like, okay, all right, all right.
Yeah.
And then he goes, and then they made this into a triple threat. He revealed, oh yeah, my wife and my best friend, and against Austin Theory, Angel Garza, and Selena Vega. And in the end, they end up winning. They end up winning the match. Like I said, like pretty much reliving the whole thing of like last night at WrestleMania, and they end up celebrating KOD. Done. What do you think about this?
I just want to say that like this whole thing from beginning to end, everything you just described was, I don't know how you felt, way too long, in my opinion. It took up way too much of the show, considering most of it was what we already saw. Now, I understand you want to do lazy booking, you're trying to continue this storyline, whatever. You could have cut out the first part of it. It could have been Zelina Vega with her two associates, Garza and Theory. She could have just been cutting a promo on Bianca, saying how, like, Bianca, whatever, like, oh, she's a bitch, she shouldn't attack me, blah, blah, blah. If it was a legit match, I'd beat her. Then it's like, oh, so you'd beat me in a legit match. Boom, Bianca shows up. They talk a little bit, ring the bell, they have a match. And then it could be, then go to the DQ, then do the, the 6-man tag or wrestler tag, whatever you want to call it, and then go there. We don't need the rematch in the beginning because you knew, like, what was Austin Theory, and then were they gonna win? No, it was just like pointless. It's like, okay, like I said, I understand you want to get Bianca over, but you didn't need this to be like a half an hour long.
No, no, I agree with
It
you.
was
No,
way too long.
it's like it's lazy booking is like, but I understand why. They had this couple of guys probably in the performance center. They didn't have the main talent. They didn't have like the regular guys, and they probably had like storylines. Hey, just cut a promo. That way you're not jeopardizing everybody else. You're trying to be
Yeah,
prevent.
but
You're trying to be cautious.
what's one thing that they could do right now? They could do a special like Corona edition of Monday Night Raw for the foreseeable future and cut it to 2 hours. And then the
That would
show could be 2 hours and it would just be like, oh, hey, because we have to pre-tape stuff and for the safety of our wrestlers, Raw is going to be 2 hours. But in these 2 hours, we're going to have high action, blah, 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 fast pace. You can just like hype it up and make it seem like it's only 2 hours, but you're packing just as much wrestling and stuff into it.
and you know what? And
And
like
it's all about how you sell it.
go along those lines. I feel that like why don't you just say it openly? Hey, our wrestlers, we want to prevent, we want to prevent everybody from this situation because
Yeah,
we
because
know how bad it is, how easy it
look,
spreads.
look in AEW, they do things like when Hikaru Shida went up to Britt Baker, she's like, "Whoa, social distancing." They
Like they
acknowledge it.
acknowledge it, yeah, they
Yeah,
acknowledge it. Like, and the one thing is, like, just say, hey, we're gonna go maybe like the first hour, like you said, probably do 2 hours for me, and then maybe like an hour give, I don't know, like a classic something, you know,
hmm
in case people want us, they're used to the 3 hours. If not, cut it to two.
yeah,
But I mean, like probably the contract says like three, and
yeah.
that's
But
probably
see,
why.
then I would do it where, like you said, the first 2 hours is the show. The show ends at 10 o'clock, and then from 10 to 11, you show classic WrestleMania moments or whatever.
Yeah, you have like what 7,000 hours. I think is more
Yeah,
than
or the
that.
or
Like
the or the, the yeah, oh, probably like 700,000 if you count every single thing that's on the network. And
Keep
you could also
ECW for
show,
all I care.
yeah, you could also show some of those 24 documentaries. You could show them on TV, or even
Yeah.
show part of them and be like, oh, watch the rest on the network. Get people to subscribe to the network. There's more things you can do than just give us WrestleMania rematches over and over and put on a show that I said is pretty much forgettable. And but you know what? I shouldn't even complain that WWE's doing that, because everyone's watching who's like, this show is bullshit. I'm just gonna watch Rope Break. So
It
I
is
guess we
true though.
really
So
shouldn't.
thank you very
We
much
should.
for the situation. We're not celebrating what's going on, but hey, you know what? At least he's a we're given a reason for stay in business and keep doing what we love to do. That is talk about wrestling and give you the best information possible at the only style, unique style of these two guys. So now, Jean Paul, a really good match that like on a normal time on a normal Monday Night Raw it would have taken 2 minutes. But this time, because of the situations, one more time, we're going to keep stressing that out. A brand new Apollo Crews, a returning Apollo Crews to Monday Night Raw. He leaves SmackDown Live and he goes and has a match with Aleister Black. This guy's going like on a good 15 minutes. And once again, Apollo Crews proves his validity, why he's a legit wrestler, but as a character and his charisma is absolutely nothing.
Yeah,
He's an
and
absolute zero.
Yeah, I feel like I'm gonna agree with you on part of that. He is a legit wrestler, and his character is non-existent. I feel like the guy has charisma, but like, how does he go out there and show it? Tonight was really the only night that he could show it. When he was on NXT, I know he won a battle royal, I believe, to challenge Finn Balor for the championship. And he had a legit promo, legit all this stuff. They showed highlights from his indie career and all this other stuff. And he, like I said, he cut a legit promo. And you're like, oh, this guy's going to be something. Main roster, done. He's in 2 3-minute squash matches. Loser, Titus Catering, all that Titus Worldwide, Dana Brooke, all that garbage. But tonight, I hope that even if this was normal circumstances, this would have been the exact same match, because you need guys for your mid card. The mid card should be loaded. And to me, he's one of those guys who could easily, put on a great match with Andrade for the United States Championship. Don't make it be Hammerlock DDT and done in 3 minutes. Let him and Apollo Crews go out there for 10 15 minutes, put on a legit match. And that's what we got with Aleister Black and Apollo Crews tonight as well. So I think, I hope that this is a restart for him, and it wasn't just like, so you're here, you can wrestle, put on a legit match, and then go back to being a loser.
And it's like, yeah, go back. It's like, thank you, but no, thank
Yeah,
you. I agree
yeah,
with you. Like, I mean, the match was really good, and even when he first countered the first flash, the Black Mass, that was really cool. I'm like, okay, and, not everybody is used to do that. So that
yeah.
was really interesting. But we're gonna take you to the last whole sequence because the match, like I said, it was like around 10, 15 minutes around that. So Cruz is all stumbling on his leg, but he leaves Black above his head and drops him before hitting a standing moonsault and a standing shooting star press for a near fall. There you go. Legit guy. Apollo climbs to the top rope, but Aleister Black runs and jumps into, and then he is kicking him. Then Black climbs up with him, but gets tossed off onto his face. And then Cruz jumps at Black, but he gets caught with a leaping knee. But then Black lifts him, Cruz with his boot. But
Mm-hmm.
Apollo holds the foot, and then he swings him. But then Aleister ends up ducking him, and then he hits the Black Mass, and then he gets the win. Like I said, it was a really good showing for Apollo, but the main thing is like they should do what you just suggested. Push this guy, give him a character. Maybe the guy has something, but like you said, he doesn't have the opportunity to show something. Like if you're gonna make me look generic, I'm gonna look generic because you're making me look like this. If you
Mm-hmm.
give me
Yeah,
the official,
you know what I would do? I would put him and Bobby Lashley in a feud and have him go over. I mean, I know you don't want Lashley to keep losing and losing, but you could have Lana be the reason that he loses this feud as well, and then that continues the Lana and Bobby Lashley storyline, because we did get a little bit of that tonight as well, some continuation of the Lashley and Lana, struggles, but you could do a thing where Apollo Crews challenges Bobby Lashley, because, some Lashley could be like, oh, get out of my way, loser, or something backstage, and he could be like, oh, mention how he lasted a lot longer against Aleister Black than he did. He's like, you got your ass beat at WrestleMania, this and that. And then he could be like, well, how about I beat your ass right now? And like I said, Lana could be the same thing. Oh, go for the Dominator, go for the spear. And he's like, shut the hell up, woman. And then, Apollo Crews gets the win.
Yeah,
And
and
then
then
it
see.
could, and then it could. That's what I mean. Then it's like, oh, now Apollo Crews. Now he gets a win over Lashley. Then you could have him beat whoever, some other person on Raw. Boom, boom, boom. Eventually challenges Andrade or something like that. A Buddy Murphy he could beat because unfortunately they're probably not doing anything with Buddy Murphy since Seth Rollins and all them are done. So we'll see. Like I said, the mid card is loaded, and I hope that they use all the guys that are in it and not only 3, 4 guys like they
It
continue to
is.
do.
It is true, and like you said, there were some glimpses of like a breakup for Bobby Lashley and Lana. Bobby
Mm-hmm.
Lashley was being interviewed by Charlie. I'm sorry, Charlie Caruso, and he pretty much insinuated, "I need a new manager and maybe a new wife." And then he
Mm-hmm.
walks away, and then Lana is like, "What did you say to my husband?"
And she's
So there
like,
was a moment. There was a
so.
moment of so. So we go to a tag team match, like very different for what we're used to seeing. But of course, we got like the whole show was highlights of the matches at WrestleMania. We had highlights of Edge and Randy Orton Last Man Standing match. Like I said, if you want all of our thoughts on those match, watch the WrestleMania review day 2 in the channel. You guys know it. And then we got something, like I said, a little different. Like Jean Paul also was mentioning, they use guys that probably they will normally don't use. And it was Ricochet and then Cedric Alexander going against a tag team that we mentioned on NXT that like they're legit, but again, no character. They don't even look like wrestlers most of the time because they showed up in speedos. Danny Burge and Oni Larkin, and they go from being legit to NXT like they always do, the main roster effect. Some
Mm-hmm.
people call it the AEW effect. I will call it the main roster effect, and that's like you become all of a sudden a loser. You lose your balls, you lose your fortitude, you lose your ability to
Mm-hmm.
win, and you become just a loser.
Like whatever
So
your overall is, like in the game, if you're like an 84, when you come to the main roster, you're a 42. Like they slice it in half and you're done. You
it's
come
like
to the
when you
main
start
roster
like
and you're like
when
a
you start
job.
like
Yeah,
create superstar mode. You know,
yeah,
you start with like everything like low, really, really low,
yeah,
and then you gotta keep winning. But because you never win, you can never get better.
yeah,
So that's
exactly.
what pretty much what happens. So this match was pretty dispute about just to like give Cedric Alexander Ricochet a win, but also it seems like they potentially could be challengers for the
Yeah,
Street
I was just gonna say something that to me, like, if you're not going to do anything with Ricochet, you're not going to do anything with Cedric Alexander in a singles role. You're not going to, again, put them in the mid card or even because both of them guys, ring wise, are talented enough to challenge for a heavyweight title. Yeah,
Yes.
they might not be heavyweights on the scale, but in the ring, their talent is undeniable. But since Vince McMahon is a piece of shit, they're in the position that they're in. So put them in a tag team and let them be legit because both
Yeah.
of them are legit. So let them be in a tag team, like you said. Let them challenge the Street Profits, and if they win it, awesome. If they don't, at least we know we'll get a good match. But make them a tag team. Give them kind of matching gear. Give them. I mean, Ricochet's theme music is legit, so I really don't want to see him change his music. But I don't know. Do something with the music. Like I like when tag teams come out together, and it's not like, oh yeah, we're just two singles assholes who are just walking out, whatever.
Well, but like for example, like you could do like da 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 da, you have it all, and then doom 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 doom
Yeah.
doom. It's kind of like 2 seconds of the one, and then the other one just starts like right away. But like again, they put this thing about just to give Ricochet and Cedric Alexander the win because
Mm-hmm.
as until today they haven't won anything. But at least today they got at the expense of Lorcan and Birch, which is pretty sad, which is pretty lame because these guys deserve a little more. That's why only Lorcan and Burge wanted to leave.
Mm-hmm.
They were probably promised more money, and unfortunately, they decide to stay. So Alexander tags in, and then he hits an inverted atomic drop, following by Inzaguri from Ricochet. And then Alexander hits a front suplex, followed by a stand-in shooting star press from Ricochet also. Ricochet tags back, so he tags back in, and then Alexander hits the neuralizer on Lorcan before hitting Burge with a suicide dive. Ricochet hits Lorcan with a recall, and then he gets the win. Pretty much quick, to the point, and like I said, we'll see what they do with these guys. And now we're gonna see like Seth Rollins is gonna be coming about, and also we got some highlights from the Boneyard match. We already like talk about it, but a lot of people are saying that it was great. Some others hated it. Hey, we think that like
Yeah.
we got
Oh
something
yeah. A
different.
lot of people. A lot of people said that was the highlight of their WrestleMania. They thought that was the most legit thing. Which I think a lot of it had to go with the nostalgia. You're seeing the Undertaker. A lot of people pop when they see the Undertaker, myself included, and especially the Dead Man. I'm not. I like or not the Dead Man. Excuse me, the American Badass. I prefer the Dead Man gimmick more. But because we haven't seen the badass in such a long time, seeing it was super legit, especially, coming in with Metallica playing all that stuff. So to me, I think it was the highlight of the show. And I actually thought they were going to show one of these matches in their entirety. But I guess they figured, let's not do that because we don't want to give the match away for free just yet. But the highlights and stuff were legit.
Oh yeah, like I really thought that they were going to do the same thing because I was already gathering the notes for for us to start like working on this, and I'm like, okay, well then probably a big chunk of the show is going to be the Undertaker and AJ Styles. They didn't do that. I think that they're going to do that maybe in the upcoming shows. They said they insinuated that they're going to do that, and the one with John Cena and the Fiend Bray Wyatt and the Firefly Funhouse. So we'll see what happens to that.
They'll probably show stuff like that, and Goldberg and Strowman. They'll probably show that on Friday.
Probably they will do like everything related to their show. So Seth Rollins, like he came out, he's really upset, no talking. He's still mad about what happened in WrestleMania with Kevin Owens. So he's going against Denzel DeJournette, and Seth pretty much beat him right away. Like 3 seconds, few exchanges, stomp, gets the win, and still pissed. So it's kind of like, okay, get your your win. So like you're kind of like, okay, you're not a loser. So it's pretty much they're trying to build Rollins out of like the anger and the situation. Is just like, hey, get a win so like you're not a loser one more time. What do you think? That pretty much that. Right?
Yeah. Like you said, it was just I don't even see. I wouldn't have even had him wrestle a match. I would have just had maybe Charlie or somebody try to talk to him backstage, and he could have just like looked at her and just like walked away or something. I mean, okay, he beats a jobber in 3 minutes? Do we care? No. Does this, hopefully that guy got a decent paycheck. Hey, thanks for coming out during the pandemic. Here's $400 and some food from catering. Have a nice day.
Yeah, well, like, a meal, $5.29. Thank you. You want any sauce? Say there it is.
Yeah. We got the Arby's sauce and napkins in the bag.
And don't forget to like call the 1-800 numbers to get that free turnover. That's right. There's your Arby's reference for all of you Arby maniacs right there. So there was Kevin Owens also got he got a promo, like an interview. I would say post match, and he's pretty much saying that he took months because of there were people at the blind sides. There were so many people blindsided by the Monday Night Raw Messiah and everything. And he says, was it all worth it? When he came off that sign and stunned Rollins, he got his WrestleMania moment, and it was all worth it. No matter what he does next, he's here, and he's here to stay, and he will keep fighting because this is the Kevin Owens show. So legit, hopefully Kevin Owens becomes like the main babyface. Now that we have McIntyre, I wouldn't be upset if we got to see face against babyface, because you know what? It's 2020 right now. You don't need to go heel and face all the time. I mean, if two guys are really over, why can't they be like Stone Cold and The Rock?
No, and you see, this is the thing too. I mean, now Kevin Owens got his moment against Seth Rollins. He legit, boom, done, stunner. He came off the sign, dropped the elbow to him and everything. So super legit. But you could do something where it's McIntyre and McIntyre and Kevin Owens. Yeah, excuse me. Kevin Owens at the whatever show you want to do it, whether it's the next upcoming show, Money in the Bank, whatever. I mean, it's hard to say. I could even see Seth Rollins winning the Money in the Bank, which, I mean, I don't even want to put that out there in the world, but you could do something where maybe even Seth Rollins interferes in that match, and he comes out of nowhere, stomps Kevin Owens, it ends in a DQ, and then Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins have some kind of last man standing match at SummerSlam to just, like, end that feud legit for good. But then it's also like, oh, you had your Kevin Owens and Drew McIntyre match. And then you can touch on that later down the line again. But I agree. I think with Kevin Owens winning against Seth Rollins, he should be the next person in line as soon as a title opportunity opens for, Drew McIntyre. Unless you're, somebody else.
Talk about this. Yes. Yeah, we're going to talk about this. But like you're right. So we'll see where this situation goes for Owens, for Rollins, and for McIntyre. I can see the three of them interjected. Like I can see the three of them dancing around the WWE Championship.
Yeah, because
we go. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, to make that like a four-way dance, the only other person who I would say that you could put in there would maybe be Aleister Black. I was thinking AJ Styles after WrestleMania would be a #1 contender, but after he got his ass dead and buried, who knows when AJ Styles is going to show back up?
Probably he's gonna take some time off. I can really see that because just like he remember like when he signed his last contract, he says he wanted less dates. He wanted just to like spend more time with his family. That's one of his claims.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's done this for such a
But
long
now
time. He wants to
I
be
will
home more.
say, yeah, now I will say if you're not going to go like a legit build up a new babyface route like Apollo Crews winning Money in the Bank, to me, if you're going to give it to an old guy, a veteran, whatever, AJ Styles would be legit to have the Money in the Bank.
Yeah. Or like if you're gonna do somebody new, they give it to Aleister Black. Give it like to Garza. I don't know. Give it like guys like that like can actually benefit.
Yeah.
You can see like you can build a star out of the briefcase like you did with like Edge at that time.
Yeah,
Edge was already.
just not Seth Rollins or Bobby Lashley. That's
Oh
all I'm
no,
saying.
that's not building a star. That's
No.
like destroying the
Yeah.
briefcase.
But
That's
nothing can be as worse as Brock Lesnar.
No. Well, nothing can be as worse as like Damien Sandow, and then he loses it. He doesn't even cash. He loses it to John Cena, but that's WWE in the past. We're in the present. Nia Jax, Jean Paul. I'm not like most girls. She makes her in-ring return. Like, do we really care? Is people like excited?
Against another woman who is legit until she's on the main roster, Deonna Purrazzo.
Deonna Purrazzo, yes. Like
Done.
she's legit. She's legit, but again,
and this is
she has to be like sacrifice.
Yeah, this is the one thing I hate. Is they're just like, oh, they don't use the term Messiah. I forget what they use. Something like she's like an expert at arm bars. Like she studies Fujiwara arm bars. That's like what her bread and butter. That's what her go-to move is. And they're bragging her up how she's so legit. And then she gets her ass kicked. And I'm like, why do you brag people up if they're just going to job out? Just don't say anything. Just be like, oh, Deonna Purrazzo. And then, oh, she's done. Like, oh, okay, whatever. Legit. Like, why do you make somebody sound good and then they get their ass kicked? Then you sound like an idiot on commentary.
Yeah, and like I said, it's kind of like hey, she's good at NXT, but then don't build her up that much because the more you build her, when she loses, she's falling even more.
Yeah, and I understand it's like they're trying to by saying that, and then Nia Jax beats her ass into the ground. That's supposed to get Nia Jax over and supposed to make Nia Jax look legit, but it's like, okay, Nia Jax is like 300 some pounds. Like we know she's gonna be legit. Like just look at her. And when I say legit, I mean like she's gonna beat people. Not that she actually is legit in the ring, but it's like I don't know. I wasn't really happy to see her back. I did not miss her at all. And don't even be surprised if she beats Becky Lynch to become the champion. I'm just saying.
It might be. It might turn out to be that route. So, like you said, it was pretty quick. Like Nia was like, "Yo, you want to fight me? You want to fight me?" So pretty much like Jax drags Deonna around the ring by the hair, and then she slaps her in the face. Then Jax with like two short arm clotheslines. Then she hits like the Samoan drop, and then she does a DDT. Actually, something different. She's gonna start doing that. It might be her new finisher. 1, 2, 3. Nia Jax gets the victory, and do we really care? I mean, hey, I'm happy that she's healthy. I'm happy. I shouldn't say I'm happy that she's back because do I really care? Do I like her? Not too much.
I'm not. But hey, you know what? I'm not gonna be just. No, we're
not like most boys. We're not. We're indifferent. There you go. That's the cry word. But like we're not like most boys. So we got a little bit of highlights from The Undertaker and AJ Styles. We got a promo also by Becky Lynch and also from like Shayna Bazsler. Becky was saying that she's already a year as champion and she's been holding that baby or he's that boy for like way too long. And then Shayna Bazsler kind of like countered that and she's like, well, next time you're gonna like swallow those words and I'm gonna be the one holding the championship. She's like, I kind of like let myself feeling in the moment, and that's why I wasn't able to get the goal from her. But we'll see what they do. To me, this rivalry is not over yet. Mm-hmm. I think they're gonna keep doing it until Shayna finally gets her. Like now, you said, if still gonna have Money in the Bank, so we'll see. That might be the next pay-per-view.
Yeah. Now, if you want to do something crazy, I would say build Nia Jax up. Have her squash people. And you could even have something where Shayna calls out Becky, boom, Nia Jax music hits. Nia Jax could waddle her way out to the ring and be like, screw you, blah, blah, blah. I'm legit, this and that. Then you have Shayna Baszler beat the shit out of Nia Jax. Boom, 5 minutes, choke her out, done. Because then it's like, oh, okay, now Shayna, again, it's like The Fiend. The Fiend was built up legit. Shayna was built up legit. Like we said, she killed 5 women in the Elimination Chamber and then done. Goldberg, Becky, done. So it's like you need to do something to get her back on track. So that's the
you
only
need
thing
to
I
do
could think.
something out of the blue. You need to do something special, something different.
What are you gonna do? Like she's not gonna kick Bianca Belair's ass again. You know, we've seen that, and I don't think that's the direction they're gonna go. What, she gonna beat Asuka again? Okay, we've seen that. Yeah, Nia Jax would really be the only thing, unless they just go straight for the rematch with Becky Lynch. But to me, why would Becky accept that? You'd have to be an idiot. It's like, no, I beat you. Why do I need to fight you again? You know, earn your shot.
Yeah, and for example, it could be something like, hey, Nia Jax against Shayna, and whoever wins gets a title match.
That's
See,
what
that
I'm
will
saying.
be,
Yeah, do
that will
something
make
like
more
that.
sense, or at least you're making it interesting because you're giving both women a 50% chance to challenge for a championship. So we go to like something that we weren't like really hoping that we were going to see. I mean, Humberto Carrillo, he got a match with Brandon Bank. It was really fast. I guess again they didn't have enough guys. They had to borrow a lot of guys from NXT. This is one of them. Carrillo finally gets a win because normally he's happens to be a loser. He happens to use the L, capital L, a lot of times, and pretty much he got a win. The music is really good, like you said. He has a good moveset, but the offense is not really believable. He will be better if he could be more intense when he hits the moves and everything. But he goes for this moonsault, 1, 2, 3. Good for Humberto. He gets a win at the expense of an NXT guy. But hey, hopefully he starts going into the United States picture again because he's a mid card. I don't really see him going like anywhere near to a World Heavyweight Championship or anything like that. And also like cruiserweights, I don't think he fits in that category anymore. He tried for that. Nobody really.
Yeah, the only way I could see him ever going to like the main event scene would be is if you feud him with somebody in the mid card, like right now, like Aleister Black or an Andrade, and then those guys move their way up to the main event, and then he could challenge them again in the main event because it's like, oh, they have history, and he's a guy too. Don't be surprised if he wins Money in the Bank. You know what I mean? There's a lot of guys. Money in the Bank is really exciting, but I could see them putting in bullshit guys like, oh, not that he is bullshit, but for this match, like, oh, Kevin Owens, Bobby Lashley, Seth Rollins, like that. To me, that's 3 wasted spots. Kevin Owens is already your number 1 contender for any championship he wants, in my opinion. If you're gonna do that, Money in the Bank should be like a returning Samoa Joe if he's coming back. Like I said, Apollo Crews, Humberto. If you want to bring AJ Styles is really the only like old, heel type guy who I put in. Everybody else should be a young, baby face that
maybe
hasn't
like
really
a Ricochet. You
yet.
can put like a Cedric Alexander. You can put all of those guys. You can put Cien Almas. You can put people like that. Like they're different. Like they can actually benefit again.
Yeah, and for the SmackDown side, I mean, I don't even know.
You can have a return in Mustafa. You can have also like Chad Gable is still there. Have guys that like they don't have a regular opportunity. You can have maybe like Cesaro. You can have Nakamura.
They'll probably put Elias and Baron Corbin in it. We'll be like, so this match is bullshit.
Yeah, like the regular stuff. Yeah. So we get now highlights for Charlotte Flair and Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania, and then we get Charlotte gets an interview after the match, and she says her dad told her that it isn't the suit that makes the man. Well, she knows it's not the title that makes the man or the woman, and is you make the championship. So she's held the Raw Women's Championship, the SmackDown Women's Championship, and she even retired the Divas Championship, and now she stands here as a 2-time NXT champion, and then she makes the title, not the other way around. And then Rhea Ripley, she was all right, but she is like everybody else, or like everyone else. She bowed down to the Queen. Woo! So it wasn't legit.
I think you do a better woo than Charlotte does.
Woo! Well, I try because of course Flair is legit. But the one thing, if the promo is good, I mean, I'm not gonna deny to you, it's believable. But do we like it? No, because we know that like it's the truth. Part of that promo is real shoot. But in the fact that like they force that to happen, it's not that like she earns it. It's more like it's forced. It's like Roman saying, "Yeah, like I main event for WrestleMania." Yeah, because they put you in that spot. It's not like you deserve it.
Yeah, it's not like you earned it. It's not like you won a legit, title to or like a legit shot to be in it. You were only in it because Vince McMahon is, like in the John Cena match. This is good shit. That's
Yes.
the only reason why he's in this, because Vince McMahon is in love with him. Same thing with Charlotte Flair. And like you said, the promo was legit. Some of it, what she was saying, it was like, oh, that's true. That's badass. This is a good way for her to get even more heel heat. But it's like at the expense of Rhea Ripley, really? Like Rhea was like a runaway train, her momentum, and then it boom right into a brick wall and done. What's she gonna do? How does she recover? Is she gonna challenge Charlotte again? What then? So what? We're gonna see Charlotte versus Rhea again. Then we're gonna see Becky versus Shayna again. Why? What's the point? Why can't you just write good television instead of having to keep doing rematches and rematches and rematches?
Yeah, it is true. So we don't know where this is going. We'll see something with NXT. Although she said that the NXT championship will not be exclusive, meaning like it could be defended on NXT or also on Monday Night Raw. So we'll see, maybe like the women from Raw or like the women from NXT like kind of going to Monday Night Raw, and that will be nice. We'll see who wins the ladder match for the number one contender on Wednesday. So we'll be covering that too, family. So we will see. I'm rooting for Shirai. I'm rooting for Tegan Knox. We'll see, maybe one of those two girls are able to pull the upset for me, and not even an upset, but both of them are talented enough to do this, and maybe go against the Queen. So, Jean Paul, we get highlights from McIntyre and Brock Lesnar. McIntyre wins the WWE Championship. We're all happy about it. He's been an interview in the ring after WrestleMania, and then he says that he finally got the goal. He did get the nameplates, and then, however, he wants to thank Paul Heyman, and he knows that he said that sounds really weird, but he came into the match mentally and physically prepared. And when Brock Lesnar came down the ramp, he saw in his eye that he was ready for war. But Paul Heyman told him to keep hitting the F5, and like that shows that he doesn't know Drew McIntyre. Because every time he's been knocked down, he gets backed up, kind of like Chumbawamba. I get knocked down, but I get up again, but pretty much. And then because he says, so when he hit an F5, he got angry. Another F5, and he got angrier. So he refused to surrender, and he will have hit as many Claymore kicks as it took. And then, right now, we get to see a return in Big Show. We get to see out of nowhere the return of the Big Show. Do we really care? No. And then he says, well...
And to promote the Big Show.
Pretty much. Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you for telling me the reason why that happened. And then pretty much he's challenging McIntyre. He's like, well, you face Brock Lesnar, you face this, but you never face the Giant. He's like, you're not going to get me upset. You're not going to try me. I know you're trying to get me to fight, but it's not going to happen. Then he slams him. He slaps him. That's what he slaps him. And then it's like, okay, we have a match. And he's going to defend the WWE Championship out of nowhere. They put on something decent, I will say. The Big Show got his spots. He got the choke slam. He had like a sidewalk slam. Not too bad.
Yeah, and I'll kind of say the same thing about Big Show. Not to the same extent as I say with Dustin Rhodes, but Big Show isn't going to go out there and he's not going to be like, oh, let me attempt the moonsault or let me, whatever bullshit. He knows what he can do, and he does it. Like you said, the sidewalk slam, and like the choke slam, all that stuff. When he came off the rope, kind of not like a Vader bomb, but he kind of like, was on the ropes and then jumped and like splashed him and stuff. Like he does the stuff and you're like, oh, okay, it looks legit. And see, McIntyre's good enough that he can sell for Big Show and make Big Show look believable as well. So, I mean, the match, like in the aspect of that, like, or in that aspect, it was okay, I guess. It was like whatever, but it was all just pointless. Why is he defending the title 20 minutes? Because this was supposed to be after he beat Lesnar. Like after he beat Lesnar, he had the interview and the Big Show came out. So why would he even defend the title? It's the same thing like if Shayna challenges Becky Lynch. Why are these champions accepting these titles?
Yeah, you can also say earn it.
Yeah, you can be like, no. Like, dude, like, who are you? You're in freaking Hollywood filming some bullshit show that nobody's going to watch. Why do I need to go against you? Who are you?
Exactly. So I don't understand like the logic when it comes to that. But in the end, Claymore kick and done.
And done.
So of course, McIntyre retained because there was no way that he's going to lose the championship like that. Only Christian can do that. Only Christian drops the belt with 2 days.
Now, if there's somebody who should be challenging Drew McIntyre for his belt, there's only one man. Somebody from 3MB has not been the WWE champion yet.
It's
Jinder
later.
Mahal.
It's later.
Drew McIntyre. Give the Slater Gator his chance.
That will be nice. At least, that will be a way to wrap it up. And I mean, I don't know if he has the caliber of being
Oh
WWE
you know
champion.
what I'm just ribbing you. But I mean, it's just funny because I'm like, that is right. Like Jinder Mahal, like we try to forget that, block it out of our mind that he was champion. But it's like,
Yeah, well, exactly. So now McIntyre also has it. So now a lot of people are saying now is the Heat's chance at some point. So maybe next year for WrestleMania, that might be his chance. And maybe he could be.
Well, Heath is on SmackDown. Maybe Heath versus Braun
Maybe Braun
Strowman.
Strowman, yeah, for the title, and he pulls the upset. That will be nice. I will pop
That would
because
be legit, dude.
I'm not really happy that Braun Strowman is the champion,
No.
but that's a topic for another video. But Jean Paul, this concludes the review. I hope we did okay, and hope you guys enjoy it. I think like it was for what they could give, it was like and I will say a nice effort because at least we see some storylines up in the air. Returns Nia Jax, Bianca Belair, Apollo Crews, well, the Big Show, so to say, but like the Big Show is just pulling this to promote his show on Netflix. So even that, we gave him the plug right there. But McIntyre is finally the champion, so we're gonna have a full-time champion. There's word that Brock Lesnar has not re-signed yet with WWE, so there's a kind of like a little bit of speculation what could happen with Brock Lesnar. He's gonna end up signing. To me, he loves the money, he loves the appearances that he does, but probably he won't be in the title picture for a long time. So, Jean Paul, any closing thoughts before we go off the air?
No, I mean, you pretty much said, like you said, Raw. In my opinion, I would say, like, if you're at like a 6 for how much you liked Raw, I'm gonna roll mine back to like a 4. Liv Morgan looked a little more legit, so that's good that they're kind of pushing her. Same thing with Apollo Crews. Asuka got the win. Speaking of the Liv Morgan match, they're pushing her, so they're kind of pushing some people, and I'm like, that's legit. Bianca, on Raw, like I said, it wasn't as good because they just repeated what they did at WrestleMania. So to me, the show was okay, but there are some pieces in place that I am slightly looking forward to the future. But until this whole Corona situation is taken care of, I don't see these shows really getting much better than what we got tonight.
Absolutely. So, Jean Paul, guys, don't forget to subscribe. Thank you so very much for watching the videos. Don't forget to check out all the WrestleMania coverage that we have. Like three videos, every single detail, every single moment.
Dos, tres.
So we have a lot of coverage on that. Subscribe and also hit the bell for all notifications. All the content is right there for you guys. Gameplay, unboxing like the pro wrestling crates, and every single show of AEW, WWE, pay-per-view. All of that is right there in the channel. So Jean Paul, we only have one more word left to say, correct?
That's right.
And that is.